What's up, guys? Belligerent here with another Bloodline video, and they just dropped the Gultung video, so we can kind of look at what this upcoming clan is going to offer, check out their traits, or not traits, I'm sorry, check out their abilities, and we're going to discuss whether or not I think that they're worth going after. Now, keep in mind, this is just a preliminary look. Half the time what they tell us in these videos aren't accurate compared to what we get in the game or what the descriptions are in the game. But anyways, let's jump into this. Let's take a look at these and figure out whether or not they're going to be any good and whether or not you should get involved in this Christmas event. Okay? So, this has nothing to do with the video, but first of all, can we address a couple of things about the video that they released? Okay, this has nothing to do with the clan, but Kyle, why isn't your audio synced, bro? Do y'all need me to come down there and run your video department? I have very little experience, but at least I can make sure that the voice is synced. Okay? Alright, so let's jump into this, but there's one more thing that I have to address about this right here. Like, hang on a second, what are we doing? What is this? What is this? What is this? Why are you guys putting something on the screen that needs to be blurred out? Don't put it on the screen. Alright, anyways, we'll get rid of that and jump back into the video here.
Male Gultung, Tarak.
So the
With
male
his passive
Gultung
skill, Predator's Instinct. Each of his normal attacks have a special chance to become critical hits, increasing their damage and knocking the target.
Okay, so his passive normal attacks have a chance to become critical attacks, and it knocks the target back. Yeah, it has a chance to. They all have a chance to become critical. That's not that big to me. It has some potential for some extra damage output. The knockback, I'm not a huge fan of. You guys have probably heard me say this before. Not a huge fan of the knockback unless you build a comp specifically around it. But usually, most comps are you're trying to get everybody in a particular spot, usually grouped around so you can hit them with a good AoE, something like that. You don't want things pushed back because then your female Devala bounces around like a pinball, not really doing damage to anybody. You want everybody grouped up so we can hit them all at the same time. I'm not a huge fan of the knockback, but let's see what the next one is.
With his next skill, the Wolf's Bite, Tarak fires a volley of bolts that deal lingering damage to his target and all nearby enemies. His bolts inflict silence on all targets and reduce their movement and attack speed. With his ultimate, Hunter's Howl.
Alright, let's back that up just a sec, just a smidge, so I can see this ability here.
With his ultimate, Hunter's Howl.
Come on.
Reduce their
Thank you. Alright. So, fires a volley of arrows that constantly deals damage. So, this almost reminds me of some skills that I've seen in other games where it's like it burns the ground or whatever. I don't know if that's what it is or just it's an AoE thing that kind of lingers around, so anybody standing in it kind of keeps getting burned essentially, for lack of a better term. The silence, I don't care about. I've seen a little bit of initial feedback, people already talking about the silence. Look, we already have male Ace. Silence is not that strong unless it's something like Hex that you have on the whole team, so it's constantly keeping them silenced. If you keep a female Devala silenced for 1.5 seconds, that just means you're going to die 1.5 seconds later. It's not that strong. It doesn't sound that strong, at least in my opinion. 1.5 seconds is not long enough to delay an ultimate in most cases. Again, in my opinion. We'll see how it plays out, but I don't think this is that strong. I don't think it's worth necessarily going that crazy over. It reduces their movement speed. They're not moving anywhere. Who's moving anywhere in this game? Like, if this was a MOBA, and you had to try to run away and escape people, fine. But they're not going anywhere. Who cares if it reduces their movement speed? Unless, of course, that's attack. And it does say attack speed, and that's separate, so I don't care about the movement speed reduction. Like, who cares? And it lasts for 3 seconds. What do they do? Take 2 steps in 3 seconds? Like, I don't know. The movement speed thing is really weird. Like, who cares? Okay. Let's go on to the ultimate.
Attack speed. With his ultimate, Hunter's Howl, Tarak enters a state of bloodthirst for 6 seconds, increasing his attack speed and causing all of his normal attacks to deal critical damage. Each attack knocks his target back and heals him according to the damage dealt.
Alright, so he enters a state of bloodthirst. So this lasts 6 seconds. It increases his attack speed, and all of his attacks do critical. Now this is interesting to me. It's still single target. Here's where I think this could be good, or how I think this could be good. Pair it with female Loom. If you can try and pair him with female Loom and keep him in a constant state of his ultimate, so in this constant bloodthirst state, so he's constantly churning out these critical attacks, there's some potential there. Now, I don't know if critical basic attacks can keep up with big multiplier ultimates. Does this have any multiplier? No, there's no multiplier to the ability, so it's just basic attacks. Now, if you hit him with the female Loom, that should theoretically bump his strength, because her ultimate, it has a strength increase on the champion that she targets. So there's some potential there, I think, between female Loom and this guy. And the fact that he heals for damage that he does. If you're constantly hitting him with crits, which is 200% of your damage, empowered by the female Loom, that could be some serious sustain. It could be some serious damage output. I don't know how good it is in a 5v5 scenario. I think it has, again, potential to put out damage, but you can't do critical attacks to female Devala's blood pool. I'm sorry, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but all this meta is how can you counter female Devala, and I don't think this does it. However, I think this guy has some interesting, like, could he possibly be the new DPS for bosses? Could he possibly replace female Travaine or male Tide paired up with female Loom to be the new DPS because he's constantly churning out these crits? I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. I don't know if his constant crits is enough to overtake female Travaine's damage boost. I don't know if it's enough to overtake male Tide, but it is interesting to me from that regards. I don't know that he's a big player on the board, so to speak, in a 5v5 PvP scenario. So let's jump on to the next one, into the female.
Now let's move on to our female Gultung, Yarta. Her passive ability, Persistent Hunter, causes her normal attacks to drain her target's energy in addition to damage. If her target is marked, the energy drained by the normal attacks is increased again.
Did I just hear that right? Did I just hear that right? So her passive is male Yiv, essentially. She's draining energy. I read on Discord where somebody says, oh, well, her energy drain is only single target. So is male Yiv. And I'm sorry, until female Devala came around, y'all know how much of a fan I was of male Yiv. I thought he was S tier. I thought he was must play. Like and now you think about nuking female Devala's energy, or female Lion, I don't care which one you put on the front line, right? But think about this. Now we have a ranged energy control. So picture this right now. In your 1 or your 3 slot, right, your front lines, you put your female cow. A lot of people like the female cow. There's some other people that can go in there, but we'll go with female cow with all of her stunning. If you can drop that in front of a female Devala with this female Gultung behind her, so now we're draining energy and stunning. there is some serious potential there. Now, yes, that leaves the other half of the board, and you're not always going to be able to line it up. But a male, you could also put male Yiv on the other side, y'all. Put male Yiv on the front line and the other side. Put the female Gultung opposite of him, but in the back line with a stun, like female Orust in the front to do stuns. Now you got lots of board control. This passive right here to me sounds like this female is going to be a must-have. The male is in. The female sounds must-have when you're talking energy control and you're talking ranged energy control. Alright, let's get on.
With her next skill, Marked for the Kill, Izyarta hurls javelins at her enemies in a pie-shaped area in front of her, dealing damage and inflicting a mark on her targets. If the enemy creature is slain, she then gains 100 energy.
Alright, so the active, so far her kit is working well together. The active doesn't sound like it's worth anything other than marking them for her passive. Hurls a javelin energy enemies in a pie-shaped area in front of her. That's a circle. Last I checked, pies were a circle. Are we talking a slice of pie? Then that's called a cone. But otherwise it's a circle. Does anybody see her hurling javelins in a circle in this video? No, they're going straight. I don't even know what that description is or means. We're not gonna spend any more time on it. However, the mark is what's relevant here. It marks the target, which, as we saw in the passive, makes her do even more energy drain. Okay, kit working very well together.
Spear. Izyarta hurls her javelin at her enemies, dealing damage that scales based on the target's current energy. The lower their energy, the greater the damage.
Alright, so again, this whole kit works very well together. Okay, so her active marks them, her passive makes it drain more energy when they're marked, and then the ultimate does damage that scales based on how much energy they're missing. Okay, so one thing, let me point this out. You want her to hit enemies with her ultimate when they don't have theirs up, right? So we might want to actually, in fact, I'm going to say we probably want to avoid some of our typical stuff. Agile, you might still have to play on her, but focused, I don't think you should put focused on her. I don't think you should put ambitious on her, because we want the ult to come late, because this ult is going to scale, so with missing energy. So if the other targets do their ultimate, assuming you live, of course, but if the other targets do their ultimate first, and then she ults, missing energy, more damage. Okay, so think about that when you're thinking about the traits with her. Okay, but I think that this champion right here is a must-have when you're talking about the energy control. And again, as I said earlier, you pair her up with male Yiv on the other side, and now he's draining people's energy too, and now her ult does more damage to people that are missing energy. I think there's some interesting meta change here going on. Now, is this going to be enough to counter female Devala? I don't know. We'll see. It sounds like some good pieces are coming together to not only counter this monster we have in female Devala, but just be very strong on the board. I love the idea of her in the back line with, like, I'm going to use female cow. I'm not a huge fan of female cow, but female cow on the front line, somebody who can stun, somebody who can provide some other kind of CC in unison with her energy while she's safe. That's big. And then you can throw male Yiv on the other side. I'm sure everybody's going, where are you going to put female Lionstone? Put her in the 2 spot. That way she's not a target either. Male Yiv in the 1, female Lion in the 2, female Orust in the 3, and then female Gultung right behind female Orust. That could be pretty strong, pretty solid, y'all. Alright, let's take a look at the clan trait here.
Lastly, their clan trait is Steadfast.
Alright, we got Steadfast, When taking skill damage, gains a shield that absorbs damage equal to a percentage of the champion's strength. This sounds like it has some potential, but I'm going to reserve any kind of excitement for any kind of trait that has anything to do with defense, because defense in this game is really bad. Maybe this is the one to change it. This sounds like it has some potential. I don't know if it has enough potential to really be must-have. So if you're doing like a free-to-play thing and you're saving up your summons for that companion that you have to have, I don't know that this is it. Now, if you want the companion, because I do think the female is going to be a must-have, if you want the companion so you can develop that and you have the summons to do it, go for it. But I don't know that this is the companion to go blow your summons over. So if you're doing free-to-play and you've heard me talking about it, you saw my other videos where we discussed some of this being patient, you might want to be patient here, because I don't know that this trait is necessarily going to be something that you have to have, and that's really why we want the companion, so we can level up the clan trait, right? We can get more summons of the Gultung Clan in future clan events when we have a companion that we have to have. So if you're a free-to-play player, this might be a skip event. I do not yet see a companion that we have to have. This trait doesn't look or doesn't sound like it's going to be groundbreaking. Defense in this game is not where it's at. Maybe this changes it, but you can wait until the last day or so of the event to kind of hear back some more. I'll try and touch base with everybody as far as how the trait is working out, what we think, if I change my mind about this companion being a must-have, and then you can dump all of your summons if we get there. But if you're playing the long game, if you're being patient and you don't have the extra summon, now if you got 500-600 summons laying around and you want to go after the companion because you want to develop the female or something, go for it. If you're buying summons, great, go for it. I would say get this companion just so you can build up the champion. But if you're like free to play and you're being smart with your resources, I don't think that this clan trait is a game-changing clan trait. So I don't know if you should go after it from that route. Let me know what you guys think about this new Gultung Clan. I'm super excited about the female. The male is I'm belligerent. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend. Peace.